Hi friends, and welcome back to Raft. Today we've got another mod showcase featuring cosmetic mods. These mods don't change gameplay in any way, they don't change the way that you obtain items, they don't change the way you fish, it's nothing like that we've covered before. It doesn't change the way you move like the Voyage mod, it doesn't change the way you build like the Utilities mod. It is simply things that look different, and that's about it. So these mods are all linked down in the description. They range from very practical to very funky. And with that said, I really hope you enjoy, so let's get into it. Alright, we're in our slightly unconventional showcase world, but we're gonna start off with the small things and move into the slightly more ridiculous and fun cosmetic changes. The first one is really tiny, but for those of you who are picky detail people, then you usually put some seaweed into a smelter like this one, and you get something called vine goo. Literally all this mod does is change the name of vine goo to kelp goo. That's all it does. Kelp goo comes from seaweed rather than vine goo. You would assume to come from something on land, I guess, but that's really all this mod does. It's a tiny, tiny change. Next up, we've got hyperchromia, which is actually one word, it just doesn't fit on a sign. And if you've played Raft before with the renovation update, you'll recognize this paint screen with a little bit of change. So these color wheels in the middle are actually what controls how you paint in Raft generically. Let's go ahead and pick like a dark green. Say we're gonna paint this wall. That's how it works. But if you want a little more variety in your color, you could just put in RGB values and make custom colors to be exactly the way you want them, regardless of what the game color wheel allows you to. So any color you could possibly want, like let's make a real... I don't think this matches any of those colors, so let's go ahead and select this one. Oh yeah, that's bright. So you can go ahead and do that. It makes any color that you want, same with the secondary colors. You just got to enable it like you normally would and then go ahead and wiggle it around until you get whatever color you want over here too. So let's go ahead and make it a maroon thingy. There we go. That's a lovely pattern, very easy on the eyes. And paired very nicely with that is the Paint Everything mod, which, as you might imagine, allows you to paint everything. So let's go ahead and set ourselves back to black and white for a little bit easier time. And any object that you couldn't paint in the base game, yeah, now you could just paint literally everything. We're just gonna make everything black and white for the heck of it. Every single object is paintable. That's really all that mod does. But if it ever annoyed you that, like, your flower vase was a different color, this is the way you remedy that. Next up, we've got a few more practical changes. Let's move this all out of the way. We've got the antenna over here. This mod I actually quite like, because what it does is you can take your receiver, which you know you normally use, and place it all here. And normally you need around 2.5-ish meters between antenna for them to all work. Yeah, no, with this mod we can just slap them all down in the same place and not have to worry about that minimum distance requirement. It works, it's functional, that's all great. There's also another mod that I would recommend, but it removes all the wires from the antenna. So if you want them to go be invisible, then you just don't have to see all the wires. Pretty cool. Next up, we're getting into the more absurd options that are offered. So if we come into our little storage room, you can see I've got a few more storage options. We've got our medieval chest. We've got a Minecraft chest, which I actually think is a really nice detail, how they changed this to all be the way that you would view it in Minecraft. I really like that. The barrel, a cardboard box, a random crate, and then this big old thing, which you may notice has some items in that. We'll get to that in just a second. These are all fully craftable, and you just need to unlock them. I believe they're all under storage, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they're all down here. So, they're all craftable. They're all fairly expensive, actually, with the exception of the cardboard box, but that one doesn't have much storage. And, you know, they just add a bit of spice into your storage room. Plus, like, this luggage has so much storage in it. I think it's actually the exact same amount as a large storage. But if you wanted something that is horizontal rather than vertical, this is a great option for you. So if you're going for a specific theme for your build, here are some storages to fit in with that theme for you. And we've got, like I said, these little items down here. these are actually hats that are added by the hat mod. So you've got a foundation. Let's go outside where we can see a little better. If we go into third person, I put a foundation on my head. It's a nice hat. If I line up my cursor, it looks like a targeting system or something. And we've got a few different Minecraft heads. I think there's a pig, a slime, and some other stuff, but we've got a Steve head, you know, in case you wanted that. We've got a propeller hat for all of you who just want to be a little bit superior. I threw it on the ground, that's fine. Let's be Santa instead. So, these are all hats that are now added to the game. And you might be like, well, you can't craft hats. And you are correct, you cannot indeed craft hats. So, how do you get them? That's why I have all of this trash spawned in. The way you acquire hats with the hat mod is actually just by picking them up out of the ocean. So you can see this is another Steve head, like the one in my inventory. There should be some other ones scattered around here. Yeah, there's a marshmallow head. So you can see that there's a wide variety of hats. You just gotta pick and choose what you like. And now we're moving into the weirder stuff. So there's a shark floating around here somewhere with a name. You can actually customize your shark names. I usually call my sharks Jeremiah, but I have this enabled in my modded playthrough to list off the names of my Twitch followers. Speaking of which, if you're interested, follow me over at Twitch. But that means that randomly it will spawn in a shark and give it a name from a list that I've assigned it. For me, obviously, like I said, it's Twitch followers. And then when you kill one shark, it will spawn in another with a different random name from that list. So it gives you a bit more customization. You can also just name it Bruce if you want to be boring, but, you know, variety's the spice of life and all. And we've got one final absurd cosmetic mod to show off. So seagulls are kind of a nuisance in Raft. They're kind of annoying. But what if we just kind of, you know, gave ourselves one that was a tiny bit more interesting? Their animations are a bit weird, but you can actually turn all of the seagulls into dragons, because why not? They come in 4 different colors, they function exactly the same as normal seagulls do. But if you wanted something that looks a tiny bit different, then the dragon seagulls are your best bet. There's actually an identical mod that changes the shark into the dragons, but I already used the name one, so we're gonna go with that one instead. And that does it for today's cosmetic mods. I really hope you enjoyed. Please consider leaving a like if you did, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. These mods are very weird in all stretch, although I am very partial to the dragon seagulls, because why not? And I think it's just fun to have more options, no matter what, which is why I keep doing these mod showcases, because I want to show you just how much there is for you to experiment with. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.